I'd also like to, Pat Saucerman and I are going to be presenting some information tonight just for the public to be aware of. We have, if you've heard about it a little bit at the beginning of the meeting, the proposed reductions list. And we are here to present information and information only. And as part of that proposed reductions list, we've been asked many questions about what the meanings of some of these things are. Obviously, if you're inside the district, you're working within the district, you might know what some of these things are. But if you're from outside of the district, when we say things like overloads, you might not know what those are. So Pat and I are going to take a few moments here this evening to walk through and talk about what these positions or what these types of things are and what they do within the district so that someone might understand the impact of these reductions and what that would mean to our district. I would also like the public to know that we have posted this revised document on our website, and it is available under the referendum page. As well, you'll see that it's posted on our Facebook page and many other pages. So I just want to start with a few. I want to talk about our teacher assistants, reducing teacher assistants and even reducing the teacher's time. Our students need assistance before and after school. They may have difficulties that we have particular people assigned to them. Supervision at certain times of the day would be affected by reductions in this. Also, we have about 8 to 10 regular ed teacher assistants across the district. They're responsible for providing classroom help, library coverage, supervision, all types of things that they do. Eliminating these positions will push these extra duties onto the classroom teachers or others within the building. Reducing 2 FTE clerical positions. Our clerical people work extremely hard. They're very dedicated. School districts, unlike many times ever before, have an increasing amount of both electronic work that must be filed, different websites that things have to be filed for, different reports that are required. There's lots of regulations. Our clerical staff work behind the scenes to keep our schools running, and reducing these positions would mean that there'd be less time spent addressing the communications that come in from the parents and those types of things, or there would be delays. Eliminating custodial staff overtime and reductions in custodial staff. You know that we have a large maintenance that we do with our buildings every single day. It's like running 4,000 students through your living room every single day, and somebody has to be there to do that. We also have our facilities open quite a bit to the public, so reducing these positions would result in some of those activities being shifted or moved. We have other instructional staff positions, eliminating library and media coordinator position. We have one of these positions within the district. There is a requirement that we have someone approve the grants. So if we have this position's eliminated, we would have to outsource this position or parts of it either to a CISO or with a neighboring district or others, and so those services would be missing from our district. Teacher extended contracts, this is something that people aren't aware of. Our school nurses, our school psychologists, our school counselors, and many others have duties, reporting efforts that they must make. They must meet with parents, they must meet with students. They have a lot of duties that take place both before the start of the school year and at the end of the school year. And reducing these positions would mean that those duties aren't done, or that they're done during that school time. And if they're done during that school time, that means those positions, those persons will not be there to take care of other things that come up. I'm not going to speak to the eliminating the talented and gifted coordinator. I believe there was really great information shared about what that position does here, so you're aware of what that position does. The school forest coordinator makes sure that our school forest is used as an educational venue, and it's arranges trips, makes sure there's people out there to meet with students, make sure that there's curriculum that's provided. We could not have a school forest coordinator, and we would use our school forest. Still, we would be using the school forest, but it would be more up to the teachers to make sure those arrangements are taken care of, more work for those classroom teachers, or be used more as a field trip site. Reducing family and consumer ed, this was a particular question that came directly to me. Consumer education is more than just foods and cooking. It's also the health careers, it's the training for our teachers. There's a lot of programs that go into family and consumer ed, and eliminating one of these positions would mean that some of those programs would be eliminated either at the middle school or the high school or a combination. Eliminating driver's ed, we're one of the few districts that still does have driver's ed in-house. Eliminating this position would mean that families would need to seek driver's ed from a private carrier. Eliminating the social workers, we've heard that addressed tonight. Our social workers play a valuable role in our district, and it is true that we have been looking at ways to add more services in this area. So obviously, you've heard that information tonight. That would be a deep cut, a deep setback for our families and our students in our district. Eliminating our vocational education program with the lowest enrollment. We've heard a lot from the community about the need for our vocational education program. We have a strong vocational education program, but eliminating one of those programs would mean that some of those students who would choose the technical education route would not have that program to attend or to choose from. Eliminating high school overloads. I just want to give you a little information about what overloads are. When an instructor picks up an extra class, gives up a period of time that would have been their prep time in order to pick up an overload, it's because they do it to serve students. Obviously, we wouldn't hire one full-time teacher or even a part-time teacher for one extra class. So doing that, eliminating those overloads would either make class sizes bigger all around, or we eliminate the opportunity for some students to participate in a course. Consolidating AP and honors courses with low enrollments by one FTE. By consolidating those courses, we would have increased class sizes. We may have to drop some of those courses based on what we can offer. And so that would have an impact on both our AP and our honors program. And reducing 4 positions in core areas. Core areas are things like math, science, social studies, and English. Reducing those positions would mean larger class sizes across the board for all students, the secondary level, or actually across the district. So that obviously has an impact on the instructional outcomes for our students. So that's some information on that. Pat, do you care to add some?
Sure. Dr. Wells, being the expert in the instructional area, covered a lot of the important aspects of the cut list, but I wanted to also talk about some other maybe auxiliary areas of the reductions list that are being proposed right now. And again, make no mistake, everybody I think believes and understands that these items are all truly critical to our operations. And our desire here with the referendum is to try to sustain these things and keep what we currently have. So some of the areas outside of instruction that have some impact on students and student learning include the technology budget. Right now the proposal is to reduce that budget by about 20%, $150,000. We are very proud of the progress we've made in the past decade or so to get our network and our infrastructure for our communications, telecommunications, to a level now which is really something that performs quite well for us. Obviously there was a great deal of investment involved with that, but we are definitely doing well in terms of having a strong infrastructure to be able to provide our technology resources. We have in the instructional technology budget a replacement schedule of computers. This is done to make certain that we don't end up finding ourselves in situations where students have in their hands obsolete equipment. Obviously, a reduction in this area is going to make it more difficult for us to be able to keep up with the ongoing cost to support technology in our district, and it will likely result in not only students having access to aging computers, but also some additional issues as it relates to technology problems that are going to occur with the likelihood of having to work with older equipment. There is a 25% or $25,000 reduction proposed for the athletics budget. Again, similarly, this is going to mean that students that are going to have to wait a little bit longer to get replacement equipment, whether that be pole vault poles or mats for wrestling or football helmets, whatever the case might be. The fact is that we will not be able to replace the items at the same pace that we've been able to do, which is again going to have an impact on the program itself. In terms of building and grounds, deferred maintenance is likely. We have a proposal to reduce that budget by $125,000. This district has been criticized in the past for deferred maintenance and not being able to do a commendable job in keeping up with the upkeep that's needed to make certain that our facilities are running properly. We do all we can with the maintenance dollars that we have. Clearly, a reduction in that budget is going to cause additional deferral of some of these things, and upkeep will become more of a challenge. We have $130,000 for reductions slated for the curriculum budget. Curriculum budget includes things such as classroom instructional resources and professional development for staff. We have a very highly skilled, highly trained staff right now, but certainly with each passing year with additional initiatives, opportunities for learning of new things to try to implement in the classroom that have been proven to be research sound. Staff are not going to have the opportunities they once had to be able to get this additional training. We have on the list $60,000, which is in the form of additional revenue through adding and increasing the current fees that we are able to assess under the law. We have some of our schools in the district that are actually over 50% poverty rate, free reduced lunch rate. For those families, when you start talking about increases in fees, it has a significant, profound impact on them and becomes very difficult for them to be able to sustain these additional costs. So that too is going to have an impact on families in our community. Eliminating middle school sports is a very, very difficult issue to try to get your arms around. The idea there would be that the middle school programs that we currently offer, which is a full slate of a variety of sports for both boys and girls, would be done through an intramural program. Instead, this is something that some school systems that have been strapped for cash have gone to. I can't begin to emphasize how that could well affect the entire program, not only at the middle school level, but at the varsity level as well, because when you reduce the quality, if you will, of the individuals providing that kind of coaching and instruction, it's going to have that ripple effect down the road as these students matriculate on the next grade level and eventually into high school. So that is one in particular that I think is going to be very difficult for our community to understand. It's important, obviously, for our students to be able to experience success on whatever field of athletics they choose to endeavor. And it's going to be very difficult if they don't have quality instruction and quality coaching to be able to support that. We have $60,000 in reductions listed for clubs and organizations, 7 through 12. These clubs includes things that many of you are probably familiar with, things such as FBLA, HOSA, FCCLA, Skills USA, Student Government, and even the Madrigals are on this list as well. These funding for these positions would, in fact, no longer be provided by the district. It's possible, I suppose, that some of these could be done through volunteer effort, but the school system would not be able to support the cost for that anymore. And then lastly, the drama and the musical, twice a year, time-honored tradition in our community for many years, would be eliminated as well in terms of the funding for offering those two performances in the spring and fall. And that's all I had.